So guys, we make a lot of mistakes when we're in relationships. I'm human, right? One of the things that I see a lot is people will bring, whether they cheat or not, whatever, they bring their next boyfriend or girlfriend to the to share the same things, the same exact. I'm talking about houses, cars that they shared with the last person. I know you're not just gonna sell everything and get everything new just because you got a new boyfriend or you have a new girlfriend or a new wife or whatever. But there's certain things you can adjust. That you can adjust. You know what I mean? So you're not completely disrespectful, especially if you're cheating. So we're gonna look at a Zoom call today from a courtroom. His stay-at-home mom wants to continue living in marital home with her new boyfriend and their new child. Their new child? Okay, she had a boyfriend. She had a baby. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we'll see what this is. I don't know.
She expects my client to support her boyfriend, and their new child. She demands money. She demands gas in her car. She demands groceries. She demands diapers. And in fact, he believes that her boyfriend is working out of the marital home using the internet he's paying for. This person that she claimed in her responsive declaration was only a friend and whom now she is 5 months pregnant by.
I don't receive any support through the state
Oh, that's the
for
girlfriend.
my
Okay.
other child that lives in the home who's 10 from a previous marriage, or I mean relationship, and I don't receive any kind of support for my significant other who I am pregnant with right now.
That's sad. That's all.
Okay, sir, is there
And
anything
greedy.
else you'd like to say?
Besides, that's just a very greedy lady. No, ma'am.
This is our motion, and we are asking that for a number of items. We are asking that the court adopt our parenting plan, although we would like to modify that request with regard to the residential schedule. The parties since August have been doing a 50-50 week on, week off schedule, exchanging on Sundays.
Wait, so the dude is living in the house, working out of the home with the using the internet that the ex-dad or the ex-husband is paying for in the house that the ex-husband, even if her and the ex-husband paid for it, he still paid for some of it. Probably driving the car that they paid for. And she wants support. This happens. This happens in real life.
At 5 p.m. And that seems to be working, and the children seem to be doing well under that schedule. So my client is asking that the court adopt that schedule as part of the parenting plan versus what the local rule schedule was that we put in there initially.
Ms. Lowe, are you in agreement with that change to the visitation schedule? Are you objecting to the proposal made?
Yes, Your Honor, I agree. That's the schedule that we've been maintaining since we agreed upon separation. And it seems to be the healthiest for the children and working out the best. So I agree with the petitioner's amendment to not go with their original parenting plan, but follow with the week on, week off that we've been doing since separation.
Okay. So, and I'm just going to make sure, and again, I know I'm kind of pinch hitting here, so I want to make sure right now we're still on motions for temporary orders, correct?
Yes, this is the first hearing on this case, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
So we are also asking that my client wants to return to the family home, and I can get into that argument in a minute. We addressed in the motion our request regarding temporary use and possession of the vehicles and property in their current possession, payment of bills. I think that was it, and child support. She in her responsive pleadings requested spousal support, although she did not make a specific request as to an amount. Your Honor, as to the marital home, my client did not agree to moving out despite mom's assertions that he did. The text messages do not reflect that he was in agreement with this option, and in fact, he never agreed to any of it. She demanded he moved out. She barked orders. She told him exactly how it was going to be, and that's what he was stuck with, or at least he felt that he was stuck with. He has a separate property interest in the home from an inheritance that was constituted the down payment. And Your Honor, the fact is, it's my client who can afford the home. She can't afford to stay in the home on her own. She's not working, and that is by choice. And she has since moved her boyfriend in. This person that she claimed in her responsive declaration was only a friend, and whom now she is 5 months pregnant by.
Okay. She moved her boyfriend in. The reason she moved her boyfriend in is because she probably can't afford the house. So she needs the help. She was like, well, I might as well get pregnant. And I hate to say it like that, but I think that's just how it looks. It may not be like that. There's a possibility that it isn't, but I'm almost for sure that's what it is. She needs help paying for this house that she wants to still live in. She chose not to work. Look, let me tell you something. Nowadays, this is 2025. This isn't like back in the 1950s where, divorces were very, very low. It was like not everybody was getting divorced in 1950. This is 2025. Divorces, like you get married Monday, and on Wednesday you're putting in the petition for divorce. Friday you're getting divorced. That's how fast it is now. You know what I mean? It's not that fast, but I'm saying it's more frequent. It's normal. So don't sit there and choose or be like, well, he told me to stay home. No, you'll be like, no, I'm working. I'm going to work. But some of them some spouses choose not to work because they know or they think that during the divorce, they're going to get all this alimony and still maintain the same lifestyle, just chilling, whatever, while you get alimony. And then also have another boyfriend that's paying. So you're like double dipping.
So her representation to the court that this individual was just a support friend and just a good friend. No, it wasn't. Which validates my client's accounting of the facts in this case. The situation mom is currently in is of her own doing because of her choices. That does not relieve her of the responsibility now to support herself and to equally support her children. She expects my client to support her boyfriend, and their new child. And so where is her boyfriend's obligation? That's what we have to ask. Why should my client be paying for a house for him to live in rent free? He's not.
To be honest with you, the boyfriend got no obligation, bro. Actually, I'm lying because he got her pregnant. Yeah. If he didn't get her pregnant, then he's just staying because she asked him to stay. If he's using the internet, it's because can I sign on your Wi-Fi? Yeah, okay. But he did get her pregnant. So he got her pregnant, so he does have an obligation.
Not paying rent. And my client is not only the out spouse, but the expectations that she places on him in the text messages are untenable and unfair. She demands money. She demands gas in her car. She demands groceries. She demands diapers. He doesn't mind those things, but he is also paying for her housing. He's paying the utilities. And in fact, he believes that her boyfriend is working out of the marital home using the internet he's paying for. So my client is continuing to pay for the internet and the utilities to make sure that they're paid, and so his credit doesn't get affected, and to make sure his children are safe. But he is seriously being taken advantage of here. That being said, there is absolutely no reason she cannot be working. And as the court is aware, we just agreed to a 50-50 residential schedule. So that means that there's no reason she can't be working on her off weeks from the children. I'd like to point out for the court that she did not file a proposed parenting plan. She did not file a financial declaration. We have no idea what her expenses are, what her income is, if she has any. She needs to get a job. If her boyfriend isn't working, he needs to be. If he isn't working, then he needs to. If he is working, then he needs to pay rent, thereby reducing my client's obligation. He can choose to
Got him.
pay rent to my client, or he can find his own place. My client is paying for everything right now.
So he's not saying that he gotta move. He's just saying, yo, you gonna live there, you gonna pay something, you gonna pay me something, you gonna pay rent. That's pretty gangster. Another thing, and I know this because I've seen a lot of my friends go through this. During divorces, I don't know why. I don't know why this is. This is what I've noticed. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. I've seen when the father or the husband, ex-husband, whatever, when he has a what you call it, a female lawyer, the female lawyers are more ruthless on the ex-wife than the male lawyers. That's what I feel like. I mean, I'm not saying I've seen some ruthless male lawyers, but the female lawyers, I don't know if because they kind of know what the female's thinking, kind of like bitch, I already know what you're gonna say. I already, I know what you're trying to do, so this is how I'm gonna get around it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And has been since this whole thing occurred, where she just picked up and left with no notice for a month and 3 weeks, and then just expects him to be out of the house, expects it to be in perfect shape, perfect condition upon her return. My client wanted me to address the flea situation and the messiness of the house.
Oh,
The house is not as messy as she tries to represent. And here this guy is trying to take care of these kids and take care of kittens that she initially brought in. She decided to foster a bunch of flea-ridden kittens, and she brought them in the house. The flea issue started because of her. And then she tried to blame it on him, and now she's trying to use this declaration in this court process to say that it's him, it's his fault, it's his neglect, which is not the case. She also made some serious allegations about sexual assault, and then talked to my client subsequently, wherein she informed him that, well, the last time they were together, she just didn't want to. Never once did she say no. Never once did she ask him to stop. She never yelled. She never screamed. She never cried. She never called the police. She never sought a restraining order. Even now, in response to our motion, she's not even seeking any kind of protection order or restraining order against my client. She has no fear.
wait, what?
You can't consent to something and then turn around and claim it to be an assault just because it wasn't something you wanted at the time. If you didn't want it at the time, you need to speak up. You need to fight back. She didn't. So
I don't know, man. I don't know. I agree with her, man. Like, nothing, zero was done. Nothing. You didn't even write in your journal. You can't just all of a sudden, because now you feel like, you know what? I think I didn't want it at the time. You can't do that.
So she can't come now to the court and say that my client is an abuser and that he sexually assaulted her. To mention the fact that it was not in the middle of a fight. It did not occur out of rage or extreme emotions. It just occurred. They're a married couple. As to requests for her spousal support, she makes no specific requests. She provides no financial documents. We have no idea what the status is of her boyfriend. And she is simply claiming that because they were married and during the marriage, she got to be the stay-at-home mom, she should continue to live that life of luxury just after it was her decision to end the marriage.
Hold on, being a stay-at-home mom, I don't know. I don't know if that's a life of luxury. We think it is because, like, I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I always been work. My wife was only a stay-at-home mom when she was in Italy. Now because she works from home, but she's still working. But that was her only year being a stay-at-home mom. Her whole life, she's always worked. But and I saw how much she did when she did stay home. She's always doing something, clean, always, something medical for the kids, something. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a life of luxury. You could make it a life of luxury if she's not doing anything, But if she's doing something, it's not really a life of luxury. Because I remember saying, man, it's too much work. You eat, because even when you get home, the stay-at-home mom still working. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out of work, okay, or when you're out of work at at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever you get out, you go home. Stay-at-home mom's still working. There's no clocking out from that. You know what I'm saying? That's just from what I've seen. A real stay-at-home mom is always working 24 hours a day.
And not have to support herself or equally support the children. So we are asking that our motion be granted, Your Honor.
Right. Ms. Lowe, I have also received your response. I did not receive a proposed parenting plan from you, but I have received your response to the petitioner's proposed parenting plan. What would you like the court to know?
Well, Your Honor, there's many discrepancies in the petitioner's responses. I would just like the court to know that we had a mutual agreement when I wanted to get divorced that he would move out of the house. There was abuse in the relationship. That's why I left the home, marital home, during the time so that he could move out and it was safe. So when I returned, I have text messages showing that he knew I was at the airport. I was on my way home. He was preparing one of the vehicles for me. And originally he had said I could live in the marital home for a year. And then after I got back, everything changed. I am also 2 months pregnant, not 5 months pregnant. In regards to the sexual assault, I did cry. I did say no. I don't feel like it's necessarily appropriate for court, especially with me with no counsel, but I can't afford counsel at this time. I've done everything in my ability so far of filing TANF and filing for child support.
Hold on, man. There was abuse. I've met many, many, many women. I'm gonna say women. I know guys that have been abused too. I know a guy that's been abused. A friend of mine, he actually got killed by his wife. So wow, that's bright. That is bright. Turn that off. Anyway, I know many guys. I know many women have been abused. And one thing that that doesn't sound like, oh, he abused me and then he agreed to leave me the house and I said, okay, I'm gonna leave so you can get everything ready. That normally abusers like to take power from you. That's what it is. Abusers just naturally want to take any power. They don't give you any power. That sounds like you had power. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like you had some power when you could say, okay, I'm gonna leave so you can get the house ready for me. And what kind of abuser? I guess anything's possible, but kind of abuser just like lets a dude just move in. I don't know. There's just certain things. I think sometimes some women like to throw that around. And yes, I'm gonna say I know this can get me canceled, but I've seen it because I've been to the court when I was working at CO. I had to go to court and sit in these court hearings. Some women like to throw that around because it's like a kind of a not all women, obviously, not all women. I know there's a lot of women been abused, but they'll throw that, oh, he abused me, because now that takes everything to a different, because they know people are sensitive to that. So once you say, oh, he abused me, now you have to look at everything differently. Oh shit, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a get out of jail free card, you could say.
I have thrown out many suggestions to the petitioner, such as splitting the mortgage on the marital home or him not paying the mortgage at all and me just continuing to raise the children in the marital home. I've been a stay-at-home mom since the birth of both of our children. So for those reasons, that's why I asked to stay. And that was our agreement. And he was moved out when I came back. So I'm sorry, Your Honor.
And there's another adult living in the house with you at this time?
There is. I don't receive any support through the state for my other child that lives in the home who's 10 from a previous marriage, or I mean relationship, and I don't receive any kind of support for my significant other who I am pregnant with right now.
And is your significant other who's living in the marital house with you paying any of the expenses for the home?
No, Your Honor, but
Bro. Come on.
I have offered to start paying expenses in the home. I've never asked the petitioner to pay the mortgage. It was his conclusion that he was going to keep doing it. He said he didn't want the power to go out on the children. But
Yeah, that makes sense. You want to keep paying. You don't want to. You don't want to have the children suffer. You know what I'm saying? Also, the thing's probably under his name. So he doesn't want to ruin it. He's not gonna ruin it, completely ruin he's not gonna ruin the children's life. It's already bad enough you're getting divorced. But he doesn't want to ruin the children's lives and then ruin his credit at the same time, also ruin his life.
my only request was to stay in the marital home and raise my children. I'm very flexible on everything else, but because this is a first hearing, we haven't gotten that far, and I can't afford counsel at this time. So I'm just kind of
And then
doing what I'm able to.
the period of time that you left Washington was about a month and a half, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the children stayed in the home with Mr. Lowe?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what I'm going to do, going through the petitioner's proposed temporary parenting plan, give you my ruling, and then Ms. Petrie, if you would be so kind as to make any changes per my order. I'll open it up for questions too. Jump in if anyone has questions as I go through this. So number one, in general, I'll adopt the petitioner's proposed plan with some changes. After review of the record, while I do think there is some evidence of probably more like 3B problems on mother's part, I am going to reserve for now on 3A and B limiting factors. We'll reserve those for the final order. Decision making at this time, for school, educational, healthcare will be joint. I will adopt dispute resolution and custodian section 6 and 7 as written. The parenting time schedule, I will adopt with the oral agreement that the parties have made here on the record today.
Week on, week off.
That will include numbers 9 and 10 for summer schedule and holiday schedule. I don't see it directly in here, but I am going to order that Mr. Lowe remain in the marital home at this time. Do not believe it's appropriate for this court to order that Mr. Lowe pay expenses of this home while a new significant other is in the home. I also don't believe, without further investigation, that it's appropriate that the children at this time be expected to reside with a significant other that the court knows nothing about. So Mr. Lowe is to return.
That makes perfect sense. The court is saying, I don't think they should live with somebody else who you chose to be with. And also, he should be living in the house because it's not fair for him to pay. He has to live somewhere else, pay those expenses, and pay the expenses of that house. That's insane. If I put, God forbid, I get in this situation like, yo, we selling this house, we getting rid of it. Ain't nobody living, not me, not you. We selling it. We could split the profits. I don't care, but we selling it.
Return to the home. Ms. Lowe is to vacate. Mr. Lowe will be responsible for payment of the, and I believe you had that listed in your original motion, all of the expenses related to the home. Yes, which includes the mortgage, utilities, insurance, property taxes, vehicle. All of that will be the responsibility of petitioner. As I understand it, this is a 5-year marriage. I'm not ordering support at this time. I'm not ordering any sort of alimony or marital payments to Ms. Lowe at this time in a temporary order. I will adopt 11, 12, 13, 14 as proposed by petitioner. I'm going over to the temporary family law order that petitioner proposed. So I will adopt in its entirety then the temporary family law order, which does require that the petitioner or allow the petitioner to return to the home and stay in the family home. Respondent must move out of the family home within 30 days of today's date.
Your Honor, will the court address child support today?
I was just going to turn to you
Amy hasn't said anything. I hope that's, oh no, it's not her lawyer. Okay.
and ask the state if, based on my rulings on the temporary orders, if there were any changes to the state's proposals for child support.
There's not. The kids are receiving TANF benefits, and that I know that is a little more complicated because the statute prohibits a residential credit when the children are receiving TANF benefits.
What is
Our
that?
proposed worksheets were filed November 13th. We used the father's actual income based on his September 29th wage stub, which he filed with the court. The mother has no employment security history, so we imputed her at minimum wage 32 hours per week. I do note that that results in a transfer payment of $1,787 a month from father to essentially to the state of Washington, so long as mom remains on TANF. I do recognize, given your ruling, that may seem somewhat unequitable, but I'm not aware of an exception under the law, at least not in regards to a residential credit.
I do believe a residential credit would be appropriate, considering that they are going to be doing 50-50. And it is for 2 children. I also would request that she be imputed at 40 hours a week. There's absolutely no reason she can't work full time. My client certainly doesn't. He gets by.
And just briefly in reply, Your Honor, the statute, which I don't have in front of me right now, specifically says that a residential credit cannot be granted when a parent is receiving TANF. TANF is evidence that there's insufficient funds in the household to support the children.
Okay, so she's receiving TANF. I didn't know what a TANF was. It's TANF, which is Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. It's a federal assistance program in the United States, and it provides temporary financial help to low-income families with children. The goal of TANF is to assist families in becoming self-sufficient through financial aid and support programs like job training, child care assistance, and education. Listen, it's 2025. Doge is out there hitting it hard. I don't know. You might. I don't know how this turned out. This is like a year old, but so basic needs: providing cash assistance, work preparation, helping participants find and maintain employment, child care, supporting parents so they can work or attend school, and promoting family stability, encouraging healthy family environments, and reducing dependence on long-term government aid. That's good. That's good. I didn't know about that. Okay.
And then in terms of the mother's income, we followed the imputation statute, which indicates when there's no employment history and a parent is receiving TANF benefits, they're to be imputed at minimum wage 32 hours per week.
Here's what I'm going to do on this, because I'm just looking through my papers diligently. Sometimes things get attached to the back of them.
We did not send over a proposed order. I was unsure where primary parent would land.
Understood. Let's do this because let's set this case to December 5 for presentation of the orders I've already ruled on, unless they get signed ahead of time. But it sounds like maybe if Ms. Petrie is arguing that there should be a residential credit, obviously the state's arguing the statute doesn't allow that. We'll set this on for a hearing as to child support on December 5th at 1:00, along with presentation, if that has not already been signed.
Okay.
And then certainly, Ms. Petrie, if you want to file briefing with the court, I'll give Judge Bassett a heads up that issue's coming. But if you want to file any short briefing, feel free to do so. Any questions or clarifications on the temporary orders?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just ask that since the court is granting his petition to have me move within 30 days, given my circumstances of him leaving the home willingly and my pregnancy and having to relocate my other kids.
Your pregnancy is not his responsibility, girl. Even though if he's still married, even though she just admitted it's not his, if a lot of times when you're getting divorced, if that woman gets pregnant while you're still with her, even though you guys aren't together, the children are your responsibility, the ones in her stomach. That's how the court sees it.
Including the ones I share with him, that at this time, I be given more than 30 days to find new residents. I know the petitioner had told me in person that he would extend it till January if it went this way, but I don't know what their feelings are on the matter.
What I'm going to do right now, and one of the reasons I'm making this ruling is I do think it's wholly inappropriate that for this court to have Mr. Lowe paying for household expenses when another adult is living in that marital house. So
Thank you,
I am
Judge.
going to keep the 30 days right now. But if Ms. Petrie wants to, if her client
Basically, fuck no.
wants to work with Ms. Lowe on an extension of that, we can certainly add that to the order. I have no issue with the parties going beyond 30 days. I wouldn't agree to anything less than 30 days. I do think that 30 days to move out is sufficient. But again, if Mr. Lowe wants to agree to longer, feel free to put that in the order. I have no problem signing that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you all. If there's no other questions, you all are free to log out.
Like, I just want to know, like, I would.
Yo, listen, and here's one more thing, like as to the other man living in the house, I'm pretty sure that you know that she's going through a divorce. I'm pretty sure that he knows that that house was theirs. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. Because, I mean, he's living for free. He's not paying for anything. He's not paying for the internet or nothing. He's eating in there. He's probably driving the car, and she doesn't work. So that has to come from somewhere. Like the payments for that style, for that living, for that home, has to come from somewhere. Why would you move in that house? That's how incidents happen. If this guy was one of them dudes that really was abusive, or really is crazy, or whatever, he doesn't have to be crazy at the time, but then he can go crazy just because there's somebody else living in there. Why would you move there and put yourself in a situation where the dude can come in and be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, come on. You got to think strategically. I'm not moving in. If I was single and I met a woman, and she was like, oh yeah, no, just just move into this house. Is this your house? No, it's the house I have with my husband. Now, if she didn't tell him anything, but still, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully, if he knew and he still moved in, I don't know, man. Anyway, let me know if you guys want me to do more court videos, more court reactions, man. Leave me comments. Leave in the comments below. Let me know if you ever seen these cases and what the outcomes have. I mean, it's really interesting. They're always different. I've seen it always back in the lately it's changed, but I've seen it always lean more towards the woman. But now it's changing. Now I think it's getting more fair. And as always, if you want me to do more of these, let me know in the comments below, and like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and I'll see you on the next smoke.